Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow interviews on 88.3 FM WXOU. I'm Giovanni Moshieri, your sports media director and host of the GioMoShow. And beside me on the couch, we have a new addition to the Golden Grizzlies athletics family, a new addition to the men's basketball team's coaching staff. It is the one and only Bobby Naubert. Bobby, how you doing?
Doing great. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, of course. And I heard a little bit of some of your background on the Greg Kampe show this past Monday, at least of this recording, and I was instantly interested. I heard some about your playing days, and now, coming from Garden City, there's a little bit of that storyline too. We'll get into all of it here today, but I start my interviews usually about the same way, just general sports background. I got to understand the origins and the roots of what you do now. So kind of walk me through some of your basketball career and how it led into some of the coaching.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of talked about it a little bit on the Greg Kampe show, but we played at Madonna University, so pretty local, about 40 minutes away.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Not too far away. Was a 3-time All-American there, so awesome opportunity. Being able to play under Coach Emmenheiser was really something that made me kind of want to be the coach that I am today. And after that, I got to go to Germany for 2 years, as we talked a little bit on the Kampe show. And, awesome experience. I said I wouldn't trade that for anything, but I kind of got thrown in where I got an opportunity through an agency, tried out for almost like a combine type setting.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of people there, played really, really well, and pretty much got the opportunity to go and for a 1-month trial period, one-way flight. They didn't buy my flight, just essentially getting there, and if I played well, they'd keep me on, and if not, then they'd tell me I'd have to get a flight back. So I took the chance and went to Germany and played really well and got to move up leagues my second year too, so I was really proud about that. And different experience over there. It's I talked a little bit about the language barrier and how tough that is. The day-to-day is pretty tough too. If you haven't been in international and playing being by yourself, it's harder than you think it would be. You're away from your family. I was just focused on getting better as a basketball player, but I got to see a lot of the city, a lot of the country, so wouldn't trade that for anything. Language barrier was tough. The food was a little bit tough, but made some really good friends over that way. And then when I got back from Europe, I was kind of deciding whether I really wanted to do that next year, if I wanted to go back. And I started helping out coaching that summer at Madonna University, helping with Coach Emmenheiser. And they had a new program. They were starting like a reserve JV for Madonna University. And he was like, hey, this would be a great opportunity for you to kind of get your coaching voice and, get in front of a team and lead a team. And I just thought it was an awesome opportunity. I thought it was a no-brainer. And I kind of took the offers off the table from playing and was like, hey, I think this is what I really want to do. And got a chance to kind of work on my master's degree, and that was something that was important to me. And had an awesome experience. I got to help out with the varsity team as an assistant at the NAIA level. And, like I said, got my coaching voice, felt really good about, setting up practice plans and kind of feeling out what it meant to be a coach. Usually you're behind the scenes for so long. For me to be my first opportunity to kind of be in front of the team and, even giving those speeches and trying to get comfortable with that was really cool. And after that year, I was like, hey, I want to try to make this into a career. How can I do that? And Coach Emmenheiser was great and applied to about 50 GA programs and got turned down about 49 of them. So I got one at Central Michigan University, and I talked about on the Kampe show, $5,000 stipend. So really making that big bucks. And, it was a lot of work. I tell anyone that gets into coaching, you got to be willing to work a lot of hours and not get paid. And, that's a lot of business nowadays. You got to put the groundwork in, the time and energy. And worked for Keno Davis and Jeff Smith, who's also on Oakland staff here. And it was an awesome opportunity, being a GA, and I was in history. So I was like, I don't know why I chose that, but I was my education trying to get that degree. And then on top of it, doing all the work as a GA. And I was fortunate, just fresh off playing. They did me a lot in the scout team. So I was the scout guy, running through the scout with the team. And then on top of it, I was going through that stuff, which was awesome. And from there, I kind of just progressed. So it went from GA to video coordinator to Collins position, director of basketball operations. And then I kind of was told that, hey, if you want to get a Division I job, you're going to have to get recruiting experience. And I was like, that's fair. So started moving around and taking a junior college job, which, talking about taking no money and working a lot of hours.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Very similar grind. So went to Iowa Western and was there for a year, and then moved up to Garden City, and then was there for 2, and now I'm here.
So was that connection with Coach Smitty, did that help, or was that a big factor in your trip from Garden City to Oakland?
Yeah, for sure. So Coach Smith has been great for me. I mean, he's been an unbelievable mentor and someone that I've been able to learn from by sitting behind him, understanding how to do the scouting reports and how to recruit. And he's always helped me progress in my career. He's always said, whatever you want to do in basketball, I'm going to help you as much as I can because, we've got that relationship and the amount of work, I've tried to help him with as well. And he's been really great. So he pushed me kind of junior college and was like, hey, if you really want that recruiting experience, you got to go out and you got to earn it and you got to kind of show people that you can do it. And I've always felt like recruiting, you have to get the experience, but at the same time, you have to have relationships with players. And I think that's something, me being a younger coach and being able to connect with guys and bring energy, I think it's a lot easier than people kind of make it seem. This recruiting thing is always scary to all these young coaches. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to interact with players and kind of be able to relate with them. I think if you're a younger guy, it's a little bit easier sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you would say it's more people skills.
Exactly.
If you're good with people, you're going to be better off in recruiting.
For sure. And I mean, I've worked for some unbelievable recruiters. Rusty Elmore, Bill Morasco, Keno Davis, obviously even Greg Kampe. The amount of high level players, and you can always learn and continue to grow as a recruiter. There's no thing that you're just a good person, you're going to get good basketball players. Right. You got to know the ins and outs and make those connections with coaches and players as well.
Yeah, you got to find the places like, okay, let's use the leverage now. You got to apply pressure here and there. And I'm sure that complicates things a little bit. So now that you are here at Oakland, what have you done to kind of like immerse yourself into the campus and the culture and everything? Like what have you done, I guess, to kind of get to know the university?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I need to know the university better.
Yeah,
but I'm
of course. I mean,
especially once the season starts, I'm always focused just on basketball. But just trying to for me, even taking the recruits out and showing them the campus and seeing how beautiful the campus is, and being around Colin, who's been here for 8 years, he's been great for me to be able to if I need information or I need to go somewhere. I've been trying to go to the other sporting events. I like being out at the sporting events. I went out to one soccer game, went out to a volleyball game. So I probably need to be out more. But at the end of the day, I think that Oakland's a special place. I think that how clean it is, how well it's upkept it is, I guess you could say. And then on top of it, just the atmosphere the athletics has as a family. It kind of reminds me of a smaller like NAI feel where everyone's supporting everybody. Everyone wants everyone to be good. And I'm excited to kind of keep learning more about Oakland.
Yeah, there's plenty more to go, and even me is now in my 4th year. I've still never been to the Meadowbrook Mansion or the there's stuff I even haven't done.
For
so
sure.
you got some time here. No,
you're giving me some time.
You'll get it eventually. So now, so I guess we're kind of going reverse chronological order now from talk about your time here at Oakland. But I'm very curious, and me and some of the sports staff here at WXOU, we're very curious about the seeming like growing relationship between Oakland and Garden City, because not only are you here from Garden City, but we got Baru. He's coming from there as well. Andre Polk as well. So is there kind of a bridge being built between Garden City and Oakland, for years to come, let's say?
Yeah, I think that my specialty has been junior college basketball, obviously being there for 3 years and being in 2 really good leagues. So I'm going to try to work my personal connections, I guess you could say. And obviously being at Garden City for 2 years with 2 different coaches, I feel like I have a good relationship trying to make sure that we're recruiting those guys. I'm in there early. I'm in there often. I'm very familiar with who we're bringing in, and I think that obviously that's not the only place I'm going to recruit though, but last year having those relationships, as we talked about with Baru and, Polk, and having the relationship with Tone, I think they know how much I'm going to try to help them while they're here and make them more comfortable and make them a better basketball player and a better person, hopefully, right? So hopefully we can get another Garden City guy in here once in a while, but at the end of the day, we're looking for the best player that fits our system, and whether it's a junior college player, high school player, D1 transfer, we need the best players that's going to help us win. So Garden City is a good spot, but at the end of the day, we're recruiting nationally.
Of course. So now working with, and you talked about working with Coach Smith, before at Central Michigan, but now I'm curious what it's like to work with him now at Oakland, along with the rest of the coaching staff, with Kampe, with Covington. What's it been like being part of that coaching staff and being the new guy in town? Yeah,
it's been awesome. Like I said, even on the Kampe show the other day, just to be around those coaches every day is going to make me a better coach, and they do a phenomenal job just from everything across the board. Coach Kampe, I'd said in the interview, was so detailed. I just love how everything he's doing basketball-wise is super detailed, but everything off the court, you can tell he's very calculated. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for so long, and just being around those guys. Coach Smith and my relationship, very similar to how it was at Central. I don't think a lot of those things are going to change just because I have an assistant title. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's been really good at it. So him being an associate head and me being an assistant, I still run a lot of ideas by him, just trying to see what I can do to help the program be better. But I'm not trying to jump him in rank or anything like that.
Course.
Yeah.
No mutiny
Coach
here.
Smith, nothing there.
So I'm curious, and this is something that I see it as like, okay, there's associate and then there's assistant. Kind of, what's the difference? Kind of, where's the boundary between those two levels?
Yeah, just the rank of it. So Coach Smith has been here for a long time, and he's going to be right under Coach Kampe. So he's Coach Kampe and Coach Covington, all three of those guys. So I'm kind of like way down there.
Right.
I'm trying to kind of get my stripes and be able to help in any way possible. Whatever needs to be done, I'm here for it. I got a long way to go. Like yesterday I said, Coach Kampe's on year 40, I'm on year 1. So anything the staff needs from me, important or least important, I'm here to take it off their plate.
And now talking about Kampe a little bit, 40 years. They made a big deal of it because it is a big deal, of course.
Oh, yeah.
At Tuesday's game against Bowling Green, the whole celebration. We got posters up now at the station here. So what is it about Kampe and what he does? Is it more than just the 40 years of experience, or is there something more than just his time being here that makes him as special as he is?
Yeah, I think 40 years in itself is super impressive, especially with one university. His commitment to the university and what he's done for the university, and I think they talked about it a little bit yesterday, but not only just helping kids be better basketball players, he's been so great in getting those guys pushing to finish school and continue to be really good off the court as well. And like I said, anyone that's been doing that for this long and continue to have success that he's had, that he's working extremely hard day in and day out. And I don't think that's what everyone always sees. I know that he gets some jokes about golfing and playing cards, but at the end of the day, we're talking about film or we're talking about a recruit, and he's on it. He's not just sitting over there and letting the assistants do everything. He knows the game plan. He knows the scout. He's leading the team. So in year 40 to be doing that and at his age is unbelievable. Like I said, a lot of guys get to that age and they just give the assistants all the work, and he's in the trenches. He's in there every day. He's in there figuring out how we can be better as a team, and I respect the hell of that because at 31 years old, I'm like, man, some days I'm like, ooh, I'm tired. So,
And sometimes on the sidelines, like even I was sitting there calling the game, and Kampe's his hair's on fire, typical situation. And then I see Coach Covington, he kind of is over his shoulder. From what I saw, was kind of like, hey, cool it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's not get in trouble here. Is there ever that kind of, like, when you're on the sideline with him, do you just kind of let it go, or do you ever have the instinct to kind of like, ooh, maybe I should cool it down a little bit? How do you balance that?
My instinct when Coach Kampe's hair is on fire is stay as far away from Coach Kampe as possible. I know my place. My spot is not to be the guy in his ear right now, and Coach Covington does a really good job of that. It's a really good balance of what Coach Cubs brings to the table every day is his relationship with our guys and kind of his calmness and his demeanor about, how everything needs to be day in and day out and kind of leading our guys. He does a really good job. So him and Coach Kampe have a really good dynamic where I think he's obviously been here for a while, played under Coach Kampe, and he can kind of work his ear a little bit and be like, hey, like, relax, it's not the end of the world. And for me, I'm just sitting there like, hey, if I got a suggestion, I'll bring it to him in the timeout. But in that heat of battle moment, I'm staying as far away as possible.
This is no time for that.
Yeah, new guy, sit over there in the corner.
Yeah, Covington will put out the fires.
Yeah, 100%.
And something else that you mentioned on the Kampe show was the importance of preparation. And if I heard it right, I believe you said that, good preparation could get you 10 points in the game. So kind of talk to me about what you do in regards of that preparation and kind of, where does that come from? And I'm sure the work ethic speaks for itself, but, talk to me just all about that preparation.
Yeah, for sure. I've been at the Division I level after being at Central Michigan and was the video guy there. And our other guys on the staff do a really good job. So we got, Jack, Luke, Colin. Those guys are really important for a staff to, they're always pulling clips, pulling edits, kind of doing the stuff behind the scenes that a lot of coaches, you don't really see or you don't understand. But since me being in that position, being kind of in that war room at Central Michigan, like being a video coordinator, I'm fascinated with film. I think that tendencies, I think that things that can make a big difference and steal a couple points here and there is a huge reason of why I like to coach. I like guys like Brad Stevens. I like guys that are really smart and able to kind of figure out how to get those points. So for me, I'm I'm kind of a film nerd, I guess you could say. I know everyone kind of looks at me as like a recruiter, and I'm good with that too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love studying how we can beat the team, or how we can, asking questions about how we can do this better, or they're going to do this, how can we counter? But a lot of guys watch 4 games. I try to watch every piece of film information I can, just because going into a situation and the game, like maybe there's a play that we can steal, or maybe there's something that we know, or a play call. And, obviously it's going to come down to players a lot of the time, how good your players are out there, how well they got to execute, right? They got to go out there and put the plan together. But it's been awesome. Kampe's kind of given me the responsibility of the scout team. So I've taken a lot of pride in trying to get those guys, and they've done a really good job of, like, whatever I'm saying, they're trying to implement how those guys play, the style, and then put the sets into action. And you got to give those guys a lot of credit too. But we're just trying to get them prepared as possible. And I think that preparation and that film breakdown and trying to get our guys in position to when they hit the court, they know exactly what's going to happen. And there's no surprises. And I feel a lot better about life when I go into a game and, we've done everything. We've exhausted all of our options. And if we go out there and we lose, then, we know that we've done everything we can to prepare and get those guys ready. So I'll sleep a lot better knowing that I've done everything in my power to prepare those guys. And I think that, like you said, it's a lot with a young coach, but you got to be willing to really be dedicated and kind of drive into that.
And how good does it feel to where you're in the game and something that you found, a little detail, it worked and it happened on the court? How good does that feel?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, it's the reason you kind of do it, right? Especially being at a Division I coach. Like, there's so many things day in and day out that probably you deal with that's not always about basketball. But, when some guy comes to the sideline, he's like, hey, we know that play, or hey, we know that set, or we know how to guard it. And like I said, we steal a couple points, and how many close games there are in college basketball, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, you can't go turning down points here.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No stone unturned. So now looking into this season, so you guys have played now 3 games. You guys are 1-2. A tough test in the Big Ten to start out with, and you got a little bit of a sweet treat return home against Bowling Green. So now going into the Cayman Islands trip, what's the mindset? Kind of how are you keeping the guys focused and not have them on vacation, let's say? Kind of talk to me through, like, what do you got to do to get ready for a trip like that? I've never been on an athletic trip like that. I stay pretty local.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on the trip, first of all. The Cayman Islands is going to be an awesome experience. But at the end of the day, it's just about mixing those two, right? You said making sure that you can have fun, but at the same time, we're there for business. So, can't be talked about today. Staying out of the sun, limited hours. There's things that you can do. Make sure we're keeping up with the schedule. And like I said, Colin does a really good job of that, of where we're going to be, what we're going to do, when we have to prepare, when it comes to when we can relax. So turning that on and off, I guess you would say. But more importantly, we know that we're down there for business. We're going to play 3 really good teams down there. Drake to open it up, who is one of the best mid-major teams in the country, and the way they play, the style they play. Our guys should be excited for that opportunity. Obviously we're excited to go down there and be on the beach, but at the same time, to get an opportunity to play a team like that and compete, and hopefully what we've shown against Illinois and Ohio State and Bowling Green, that we can play with teams like that and we can compete, and we're not there just to compete, we're there to try to win. So playing Ohio State and Illinois, obviously you don't want to walk away with a loss, but I felt like the way we executed and how hard we played and how hard we competed, that if we have that mentality day in and day out, you can see how it went against Bowling Green, another really good mid-major MAC school. So they're going to be really successful too. And I'm excited to see how this team keeps going. Obviously it's a little bit different being home than out in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to make that adjustment when we're in the gym. We get about an hour and a half to practice. So get a feel for how the gym is, get a feel for, how we're going to go through everything. But everyone should be excited. It's going to be an awesome opportunity.
You can't really say, like, oh, man, I got to go to the Cayman Islands.
No chance.
In late November, man.
I'm good.
Do we have to?
And then Italy. I got Italy in this one, so I'm like, man, I'm walking into a perfect storm. 2 good trips right off the bat, so I'll take it any day of the week.
Yeah, I talked to Colin. We had Colin on the show earlier this semester, so you guys can scroll down and go watch that interview as well. And we talked about the Italy trip. I talked to Tone Hunter at another interview you guys can go watch. I like plugging things.
I love it. Love it.
So
2 good guys too.
Oh, absolutely. So, and you mentioned the Italy trip, and I got to know about it.
Yeah.
What happened? What was the experience like? How was the heat?
Oh man, it was hot. I know both those guys. I watched those interviews and it was really hot, but just an awesome experience to see. Colin kind of talked about the historical value and just obviously me being a history guy and having a little bit more of that. I wouldn't trade that trip for anything. 10 days to be with an awesome group of guys, and I felt like it really made us closer as a team. I know we get to see the the world and travel and do that, but we got to really hang out and get to know each other a lot better. I walked into that trip and been here for a little bit, and obviously, you get to be on the court with those guys and get a good feel, but I felt like when I walked away from that Italy trip, obviously the memories of everywhere we visited and what we saw and what we got to do, but I felt way more comfortable being around the guys, and I felt way closer, and I think it's helped me coaching wise as well too.
Yeah, because me and my brothers we were down in Sicily around the same time. I think we overlapped like a few days.
I should have met up.
I checked with Giz. I'm like, whoa, where are they staying? Where are they staying? Oh, they're up in the north.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We were all over, man. We were on that bus a lot too, though. So
yeah, and it was hot there. Our room, like we stayed at my uncle's house, and it was his mother's old house. There was no air conditioning in there, man.
No,
it was like 85 at night.
We were sweating. We were sweating, man, for sure. We were feeling that heat.
Yeah, but it was absolutely beautiful. I'm glad you guys got to go and enjoy that. And those trips happen every 4 years, about right?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like a new class every so often we'll get there.
Yep, I think Kampe really was pushing Greece next time. So hopefully I'm still here. Hopefully we can win some more games. I'll be here in Greece.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that one. And so, one last thing to kind of wrap it up, I want to give you kind of the opportunity to, give everybody a heads up. For those who didn't really listen to the pregame show before Bowling Green, shame on you, on the WXOU Sports YouTube channel. But kind of give everybody who hasn't, didn't go to the game Tuesday, don't know much about this team, give them a heads up. What are they going to be seeing on the blacktop this year?
Yeah, I would strongly encourage to come out to a game. Just the biggest thing is we have guys that have been here for a long time that are really developed, and they're high major type talents. Trey Thompson is a high major basketball player. You got to saw that last night against Bowling Green, but we have so much talent across the board. Jack Golke is one of the best shooters in the country, along with Blake Lampman, hopefully when he gets healthy. The two of them together, so a lot of threes, a lot of inside-out game. You got Chris Conway, who's really good inside and going to have some monster dunks. So overall, we're going to play a fast, up-tempo game of basketball, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Obviously, we need your support, so hope to see you guys out.
And if you can't make it to the stands of the arena, we got you on WXOU for home games. Don't you worry about it.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach Bobby Naubert, thank you so much for coming on to the GioMoShow. I'm very glad to learn about you, learn about your career, and it's always nice to get to know the people that I'm watching with and hearing, their hair get on fire over on the sideline. It's nice to get to know them a little bit.
No, I appreciate it, man. I hope we can do it again soon.
All right, thank you very much. And you can listen to the GioMoShow live Thursdays at 6 on WXOU. This is Giovanni Mosheri from the GioMoShow signing off, and we'll see you next week.